you ever walked into a park, found a random mirror on the ground, seen it turn to a dark counterpart of you, and challenge you to a duel? Well, neither have I, but that's a situation Kisara finds herself in today's duel analysis, with Kisara versus Dark Kisara. It's a duel that's been requested by Ian Lamont, Spooky Electronics, and user HR1BV3GK9X, and is so far a fan favorite duel from the series, White Dragon Legacy. Before we begin though, I need to set some background. First, we have Kisara, the main protagonist of the series. She was given her tick by her mother, before said mother was killed by a dragon hunter, elite duelists who work for the main antagonist, Viathan. Now, with her mother's deck and trusty Blue Eyes White Dragons, she plans to stop Viathan once and for all. Dark Kisara has no backstory. She was found from a random mirror Kisara found on the ground. She's probably some ancient relic of Viathan's that he dropped off while he was invisible to try and defeat Kisara. But that's just speculation, really. And just to be clear, I'm going to be calling Dark Kisara Dark throughout this duel. Just so we don't have a moment of Kisara has her dragon attack Kisara directly, but Kisara activates her trap card to negate Kisara's attack. That's fine for like one sentence, but the entire duel? No. Also, just to get this out of the way, I'm going to be using the TCG names of cards throughout this duel. Treasure Key Studios prefer to use the OCG names of cards, and that's great and all, but I prefer the TCG names, just because that's what I grew up with and what I'm more used to. So with all that stuff out of the way, let's quit our stalling and get brawling. The duel begins and Kisara goes first. She draws, and her opening hand consists of Obnoxious Celtic Guard, Spear Dragon, Exploder Dragon, Hits in the Dark Clown, and two mysterious cards. We all know that one of them is a spell or trap card, so I'm going to say the first one is Blue Eyes Shining Dragon, and the other one is Tyrant Wing. Two cards that don't really help Kisara during this duel. Kisara decides to play it safe. She sets her Agnostic Celtic Guard in face-down defense position, then sets her Tyrant Wing face down and ends her turn. It's Dark's turn. She draws, and her opening hand consists of Enraged Battleox, Pot of Greed, Polymerization, Malefic Tune, Malefic Truth Dragon, and the anime version of Malefic Rainbow Dragon. She summons her Enraged Battleox in attack mode. She then orders it to attack and destroy Kisara's bamboozled Celtic Guardian, which it does. And because of Enraged Battleox's effect, it can do piercing damage. So Kisara loses 500 life points. Dark then enters her main phase 2 and activates her Pot of Greed, taunting Kisara by explaining what it does. She draws and gets Summon Skull and Jaw Robber. She sets her Jaw Robber and Malefic Tune face down and ends her turn. It's a bit weird to use Pot of Greed after normal summoning, but it's not a misplay, just kind of a weird thing. Back to Kisara smacking herself in the face. It's Kisara's turn. She draws and gets Blue Eyes White Dragon. She normal summons Spear Dragon. She has an attack Battleox. Battleox is destroyed and Dark takes Sparks damage. Because Spear Dragon attacked though, it now switches itself into defense mode. Kisara ends her turn. It's Dark's turn. She draws and gets the Blackstone of Legend. She summons her Blackstone, and then uses its effect, tributing it to special summon a Red Eyes monster from her deck. She special summons the Ace monster that Kisara's brother used, the Red Eyes Black Dragon. She's not done there though. She activates Polymerization, using the Red Eyes Black Dragon on the field with the summoned skull in her hand to fusion summon the Black Skull Dragon in attack position. Black Skull Dragon attacks and destroys Spear Dragon. Dark ends her turn with that. It's Kisara's turn. She draws and gets Marshmelon. Prioritizing having a monster in the field before dealing with the dragon, she sets Marshmelon in face-down defense position and ends her turn. It's Dark's turn. She draws and gets Malefic Territory. She orders Black Skull to attack Kisara's set monster. It does, but not only does Dark take 1000 damage, but Marshmelon isn't destroyed as a result of battle thanks to its own effect. Dark ends her turn with that. Why not activate her territory and summon the Malefic Rainbow? She probably just wants to save that to screw with Kisara even more later. Plus, Black Skull Dragon is getting the job done by itself, so it's fine. Although, keep this turn in mind, we will come back to it later. It's Kisara's turn. She draws and gets Reckless Greed. She normal summons Exploder Dragon and has an attack Black Skull. Dark calls her an idiot for attacking with a weak monster, right before her own monster and Exploder Dragon both blow up in her face. This is because of Exploder Dragon's effect, which destroys any monster that destroyed it in battle. Also, none of the player takes any battle damage from attacks involving it. Kisara then sets Reckless Greed face down and ends her turn. She's not going to use it for a long time, but to be fair, skipping 2 draw phases is a pretty high cost, so, she's probably just saving it for when she feels she absolutely has to. It's Dark's turn. She draws and gets Forbidden Chalice. Dark decides she's tired of holding back and decides to use her big guns. She activates her continuous spell, Malefic Territory. First, this card activates the field spell Malefic World straight from her deck. It also makes all cards in the field spell zones unable to be targeted. Also, it changes all Malefic effects that make it so only one monster can attack on the field, to only one monster with that specific name can attack on the field. Also, it negates the effect of all Malefic monsters in the field during the battle phase, so as many of them can attack as possible. Man, I love how obvious Konami is trying to fix an entire archetype with one card. This card does everything but make me a ham sandwich, and that's probably only because they ran out of room. Dark then sends Kisara's ex-best friend's card, Rainbow Dragon, from her deck to the grave, to special summon the anime version of Malefic Rainbow Dragon. Next, she activates Forbidden Chalice and uses it on Marshmelon, so Marshmelon will gain 400 attack points, but its effects are negated. Dark attacks with Malefic Rainbow Dragon. Marshmelon is destroyed and Kisara is knocked to the ground. Though that's strange since it was in defense mode, so no damage was dealt. I guess it just goes to show how strong the monster is in its home world. Anyway, Dark ends her turn. It's Kisara's turn. She draws and gets her favorite card. The spell card, Pot of Greed. She immediately activates it, but Dark immediately changed with her own quick play spell card, Jar Robber. Kisara gives a look like Dark just shot her cat, because Jar Robber not only negates Pot of Greed, but also lets Dark draw one card, and she gets the anime version of Malefic Blue Eyes White Dragon. Pissed off, Kisara sets Pet in the Dark Clown in face down defense position, and ends her turn. It's Dark's turn. She draws and gets Solemn Wishes. She immediately sends Blue Eyes White Dragon from her deck to the graveyard to special summon Malefic Blue Eyes White Dragon. She orders Malefic Blue Eyes to attack and destroy Kisara's set Pet in the Dark Clown. It does, but Petting's effect activates. Since it died by battle, Kisara can banish it to special summon another copy of Petin from her deck, and that's exactly what she does, summoning it in defense mode. Malefic Rainbow then attacks and destroys the second Petin. Its effect activates again, though, if Kisara summons her third and final Petin. Dark questions if Kisara's deck is an actual deck or a 3-ring circus. She then sets her Solemn Wishes face down and ends her turn. Okay, so no misplays for me on this turn, but we gotta address the elephant in the room here. Dark has cards she should not have access to. Dark here is a servant of Viathan, the main antagonist, as I said, and one of Viathan's goals is to take Kisara's 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. But Dark here has a Blue Eyes White Dragon, so why doesn't Viathan just teleport her back and take her Blue Eyes? See, there is something resembling an explanation for this. Malefic World itself. Dark says,
"Welcome to Sim World, where the laws of reality don't apply."
So it's possible that she only has these cards in the Malefic World, and in the real world they're like blank or something. Really, this duel is more just to show how far Kisara has come through the 18 episodes we've seen her in so far. Though it is also possible that this is just Viathan's first time using the mirror, and he doesn't really know how it works. Or maybe they just weren't a thing since he last roamed the Earth, so there's some newfangled nonsense to him. That would probably make the most sense. He's a parent looking for the any key to continue. Now let us continue with the duel. It's Kisara's turn. She draws and gets Swords Revealing Light. She activates it, so now Dark can't attack for 3 of her own turns. Kisara ends her turn, but as she does, Dark activates her continuous trap card, Solemn Wishes. Now every time she draws a card or cards, she'll gain 500 life points. It's Dark's turn. She draws and gets Malefic Claw Stream, as well as 500 life points. She sets Malefic Claw Stream face down and ends her turn. 1 turn of swords have passed. It's Kisara's turn. She draws and gets the ritual spell card, Chaos Form. She passes though, as she can't do anything with it. It's Dark's turn. She draws and gets the anime version of Malefic Cyber End Dragon, as well as 500 more life points. Dark then sends the Cyber End Dragon, which was used by Kisara's mother's trainer, to the graveyard. to special summon the Malefic Cyber End Dragon. With no moves left to make, Dark ends her turn, meaning 2 turns of swords have now passed. It's Kisara's turn. She draws and gets Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. She has to end her turn with that. Now, you can see that the card is a Blue Eyes White Dragon, but I think that this was actually an error made while filming, because Kisara says that the card is a new card given to her by her mother's master, and while another copy of Blue Eyes technically is a new card given to her by her mother's master, Kisara wouldn't be like, oh wow, it's a new card, because she's pulled this card like 100 times. So that's why I think this is Jet Dragon, and that showing the Blue Eyes is just a mistake. It's Dark's turn. She draws and gets the anime version of Malefic Red Eyes Black Dragon, as well as 500 life points. She sent a second copy of the Red Eyes Black Dragon from her deck to the graveyard to special summon Malefic Red Eyes Black Dragon. She ends her turn there, daring Kisara to try and break her board, as the swords have expired. It's Kisara's turn now, and possibly her last. She draws and gets Raigeki. She activates it, destroying all of Dark's Malefic monsters. Aggravated, Dark activates 2 card effects, which I will explain in reverse chain order. Malefic Tune. Since face-up Malefic monsters were destroyed by the opponent, Dark can draw 2 cards, and those 2 cards are Anime Malefic Parallel Gear and an unknown card. We'll say it's a second copy of Malefic World. She also gains 500 life points thanks to Solemn Wishes. And then, the Malefic Tooth Wagon! I'm sorry, I couldn't resist, I had to do it once. Since Malefic monsters were destroyed by the opponents, Dark could pay half her life points to special summon this mighty monster. Kisara takes in all this information maturely and responsibly.
Screw you!
Unfortunately, she doesn't have any more miracle draws, so she ends her turn there. It's Dark's turn. She draws and gets an unknown card, as well as 500 life points. Now this is actually kind of a weird thing because she's going to set it face down later, but based on what we see in the field later, she doesn't have this card face down. Because she's actually going to have her spell and trap card zone filled up with Territory, Solemn Wishes, Malefic Claw Stream, and 2 more cards she's going to have later. So there's no room for this card. It's just a weird thing, but I guess if I have to give it an identity, Malefic Force. Why not? She has Truth Dragon attack and destroy the last pet in the Dark Clown. She ends her turn. It's Kisara's turn. She draws and gets Defense Draw. She sets it face down and ends her turn. It's Dark's turn again. She draws and gets Anime Malefic Stardust Dragon, plus 500 more life points. She sends the regular Stardust Dragon from her extra deck to the graveyard to special summon the Malefic Stardust Dragon. She then normal summons her tuner monster, Malefic Parallel Gear. Dark then tunes Malefic Stardust Dragon with Malefic Parallel Gear to synchro summon the level 10 Malefic Paradox Dragon. And upon its synchro summon, Malefic Paradox Dragon's effect activates, special summoning 1 synchro monster from the graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. So she revives the level 8 Stardust Dragon. Man, this is like the 3rd duel in a row I've done that had Stardust Dragon in it. What the heck? Weird coincidence, am I right? Dark orders Stardust Dragon to attack directly, dealing 2,500 points of damage to Kisara and knocking her down to 1,000 life points. So then orders Paradox Dragon to end this duel, attacking directly and attempting to go for game. But Kisara uses her face down card, Defense Draw, so no damage is dealt and she gets to draw 1 card, which is Swift Scarecrow. Dark admits that she may have stopped the first attack, but what will she do about the second one? She attacked with Truth Dragon, attempting to go for game again, but Kisara uses Swift Scarecrow's effect, discarding it to negate the attack and end the battle phase. Groaning, Dark sets that mysterious card that can't fit in the spell and trap card zone face down, and ends her turn. It's Kisara's turn. She draws and gets Trade In. She activates it, discarding level 8 Blue Eyes Jet Dragon in the graveyard to draw 2 cards, which are Negate Attack and a second copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon. She sets her Negate Attack face down and ends her turn. It's Dark's turn, and the penultimate turn of the duel. She draws and gets Pot of Desires, as well as 500 life points. She activates Desires, banishing the top 10 cards per deck face down to draw 2 cards, which are Mirror Force and Magic Cylinder, and then gain another 500 life points. She then sets both of those trap cards face down, and then Dark says, "Screw the rules, I have Sing," and attacks directly with all of her monsters at once for gain, knocking Kisara flat on her face. Don't worry though, because Kisara took no damage from those attacks, because the moment an attack was declared, she activated her set negate attack, which explains itself, so I won't insult your intelligence. If even that onslaught failed, Dark is forced to end her turn. It's Kisara's turn, and the final turn of the duel. She draws and gets a Feather of the Phoenix. She activates it. Now, by discarding one card from her hand to the graveyard, she can place a card from her graveyard on top of her deck. She discards a Blue Eyes White Dragon from her hand to the graveyard and sets Pot of Greed on top of her deck. Now she has a good opportunity. Kisara activates her set Reckless Greed. Now she can draw 2 cards, but her next 2 draw phases will be skipped. She gets Pot of Greed and Heavy Storm. She then activates Pot of Greed to draw 2 more cards. She draws Mystical Space Typhoon and Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. She follows that up by activating the ritual spell Chaos Form. She offers the level 8 Blue Eyes White Dragon in her hand as sacrifice to ritual summon the level 8 Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. Kisara then activates her spell card Mystical Space Typhoon, supposedly to destroy Malefic territory, because territory predicts world from being targeted by card effects. Dark stops that right there though. Since a card that would destroy another card on the field was activated, she can tribute her Stardust Dragon to negate and destroy that first card. And that's exactly what she does, negating and destroying Mystical Space Typhoon. However, that's exactly what Kisara wanted to happen, because now that Stardust is gone, she can activate her spell card Heavy Storm, which bypasses territory's protection effect and destroys all spells and traps on the field. And with no field spell left on the field, all of Dark's Malefic monsters destroy themselves. And now, since a card was destroyed while Kisara controls a Blue Eyes monster, Kisara can, and does, special summon the Blue Eyes Jet Dragon from her graveyard. Kisara then enters her battle phase and attacks directly with Jet Dragon, dealing 3,000 points of damage to Dark. Finally, Kisara attacks Dark directly with Chaos Max, dealing 4,000 points of damage and winning Kisara the duel, as well as earning herself a Stardust Dragon as a reward. So, could Dark have defeated Kisara? Well, yes actually. There is one scenario where Dark could win. Let's turn the clock back to turn 6. Dark draws and gets Malefic territory. This time, she activates it and summons a Malefic Rainbow Dragon. Now, she'll probably still attack with Black Skull, and Marshmallow will do its thing and all of that jazz, but now she has 2 big monsters on the field. Now it's Kisara's turn. She's aware that there's 2 big monsters in the field, so she'll probably choose to take out the bigger monster, Rainbow. She'll summon her Explorer Dragon and attack Rainbow, destroying both monsters. But now that Rainbow died to a card effect, Dark can pay half her life points to special summon the Truth Dragon. Kisara passes, knowing that while she's in a bad situation, at least she has her Marshmallow to protect her. And then Dark draws and gets Forbidden Chalice, uses it on Marshmallow, then attacks with Black Skull Dragon, and Truth attacks for gain, winning the duel. But the only reason that scenario didn't come up is because Dark was so obsessed with mind games and screwing with Kisara's psyche. A bit of a trend on this show. Seriously, someone needs to get this girl a therapist, or at least a hug. You could say Dark could have used Malefic Claw Stream in response to Heavy Storm to try to destroy Chaos Max for revenge, except no, because Claw Stream targets and Chaos Max can't be targeted. Also, it's worth pointing out that Kisara could have activated Reckless Greed after she activated Swords of Revealing Light, just because, you know, if you're going to wait for 3 turns, then skipping 2 draw phases isn't going to be that big a deal. But on the other hand, it's a good thing that she didn't, because if she did, her whole Feather of the Phoenix combo would have been screwed, all for cards that aren't going to help her really right now. So, yeah, smart thinking on waiting, Kisara. So other than those 2 scenarios, Kisara was bound to win this duel. Dark did have the stronger monsters and more overwhelming force, but Kisara had the endurance to keep hanging on, keep fighting, and took advantage of any openings she had the moments that she had it. But what do you all think? Did you notice any opening that I missed? Be sure to let me know, and be sure to check out White Dragon Legacy, which was created by Treasure Key Studios. They also do a lot of other things like Pokemon shorts, a Halloween special, and some other stuff. Give them a watch if that stuff interests you. But until next time, take care now.